So let's just start off with the definition of filibuster in your words.
Well, very good. Well, it derives from freebooter, which is a term for piracy. So understand first that it evolved as an assault on the tradition of debate in which everyone's heard, and then you vote by simple majority. Then some folks said, hey, we don't want this bill to pass. We don't have the votes, so maybe we can just keep talking and wrap that extended speech in the First Amendment. We're just exercising the First Amendment. Isn't that glorious in order to defeat a bill? But that was the pirates taking over the Senate. That's where filibuster comes from.
We have two types of filibusters. More people are familiar with the talking filibuster, but what about the silent filibuster that I think is really the kind of the more concerning?
Because a rule was removed from the Senate rules, a rule that allowed you to make a motion to close debate. And that rule was removed, and it was removed because it was rarely used, only less than a dozen times. So we don't need that. We have the Senate Code. The Senate Code is everyone expresses themselves, we listen to each other, you speak right to the topic. Jefferson wrote a whole guidebook for the Senate based on being direct and succinct and let's get to the business. So Aaron Burr said, we're rewriting these rules. We don't really need that previous question motion. So it opened a door. Nobody went through the door at that time.
Until
the 1830s. Now you're talking about the tension between the North and the South, and specifically over tariffs. And the North economy wanted tariffs to protect their manufacturing. And the Southern economy feared retaliatory tariffs on tobacco and cotton that would hurt the Southern economy. So the Southern states called these tariffs the tariffs of the abominations. Like, that's how much they hated them. Like, oh, this is help the North, destroy the South, unacceptable. There was a theory about how to stop these tariffs, and that theory was called nullification. And it was based on, we're more a federation of states than a nation, so even if there's something passed nationally, a state should be able to say, not here. And so along comes Calhoun and says, we're going to use nullification to stop these tariffs. And it came to the point that South Carolina actually passed a nullification bill. But Jackson, who owned 100 slaves, that's not the way we're supposed to function. If you strike down a law, it has to be done by the Supreme Court. You can't nullify. And he had Congress declare war on South Carolina. So nullification dies. It's gone. Well, how now for the South to defend itself? And that's when they came up with the idea, we'll just keep talking and wrap ourselves in the First Amendment and say, isn't this glorious? This is beautiful. The Senate's exceptional. You can speak as long as you want. Total opposite of the code the Senate began under. This was primarily, though it began with tariffs, it was primarily used through the next 100+ years to stop civil rights bills. This is why Obama called it a Jim Crow relic.